Hello, you are listening to Butterball. This is a podcast of three family members. We're talking ball, we're having a little family banter, and we're having a ball. My name is Scott Butterball.
Hey, y'all, I'm Nicole. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast. We're posting clips on there, some funny 6-7 jokes that I posted today. We'll have other highlights, links to the episodes there, so make sure you follow us there.
Drew, you can watch our episodes on YouTube. Our channel is Butterball at Butterball Podcast, or you can listen to us on Spotify and search Butterball.
All right, so this week we decided that we would talk about the Super Bowl, we'd talk about the Winter Olympics. So we think we've got quite a bit to cover. So we're going to start with the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl's a big day. The following day should be a national holiday. I don't know why that hasn't been enacted. But what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl? Nicole, why don't you start it off? You starting at the national anthem, or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think national anthem, I mean, if we're going chronologically, like we did prop bets at the Super Bowl party I went to. So we were betting on how long the national anthem would take, what the coin toss would be, Gatorade color, everything like that. But it was Charlie Puth. I think he sounds amazing. I actually was thinking in my head when he was singing, I was like, Dad's probably sitting over there on Spotify looking up Charlie Puth right now because that's something that you would do. And I know you didn't know much about him going in. So what did you think of his national anthem?
I didn't know anything. The one comment I made to the people that I was sitting with at the party that we were at was the players probably, if I were playing in that game, I think I would have probably had to go and take a whiz probably 55 times before the game because there's so much hype and lead up to it that these guys are got to be nervous as all get out. And man, it's like, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. So by the time they got to the national anthem, I was kind of just revved up and wanted them to get the game going. What about you, Drew?
I waited till probably, what was the game, at 6 o'clock or 5:30? I waited till probably 5:45 to turn it on because I knew all of that stuff was going to come on and I did not wait for it.
Oh my gosh.
So I turned it on right when the action started.
You're not doing the true justice that it deserves.
I must admit, too, I purposefully stayed away from the TV until about the time we went to the party because I knew that if I watched 6 hours of lead-in to the Super Bowl, I'd be Super Bowled out by the time the Super Bowl started. So
yeah, well, unless the Chiefs were playing, then we all would have had the TV on all day long. So
Of course. Okay, all right. So post-national anthem, they kick the ball off, the game gets started. Then what? What are your thoughts?
Then nothing happened until the fourth quarter.
Well, now this is where we get into a bit of a debate, but I don't know. Nothing happened. All right, that's Nicole's take. Drew, what are you thinking?
I pretty much had the same. I said no touchdown until the fourth quarter, question mark.
Well, okay, what I think is it was extremely boring, but you know what game it reminded me of? Another Super Bowl. When the Chiefs played the Bucks, it reminded me of that. Like, I just remember when the Chiefs played the Bucks, I was sitting there like with the pit in my stomach, like, can you just do something? And that's exactly how I felt for the first 3 quarters of this game as well.
Yeah. This is where you get into, well, if I'm a Seattle fan, man, I'm just happy all day long. God, hey, get me another beer. Oh, wait, I'm just going to go get something to eat because I know they're not going to score. I mean, we're shutting them down. They can't do anything to us, So Seattle was in complete control. And now, and on the other hand, you just described, so you must have been pulling for the Pats a little bit because you just described what a Patriots fan would feel.
I said this last week. I said, Drake May's my guy. I want him to win. So, yeah, of course, I was sitting there rooting for the Pats.
Yeah, so if you were a Pats fan, you'd be sitting there and just so frustrated because they couldn't do anything. And, you know what it's like to root for your team when nothing's happening and you're just like, man, this couldn't be worse. Kind of like the Chiefs against the Eagles, but still, it was looking pretty bleak. Although, when you get down to the fourth quarter and there's only 12 points, 12-point lead, anything can happen if somebody makes a huge mistake.
I thought it felt a lot like 2014 when the Seahawks beat the crap out of the Broncos. Their defense kind of controlled that entire game too. Their offense scored a little more, obviously, but it was weird how was it 12 years later, it felt the exact same way seeing them play again.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to
interesting.
have a poll. Did it feel like Chiefs Bucks, Chiefs Eagles, or 2014?
We talked about it last week a little bit in, well, who do you think's going to win? I kind of thought Seattle because of their defense. And I figured that given that Drake May is so young and they also had some young offensive linemen, that the Seahawks are going to come and just do some things to try to mess with them, rattle them, right? And that was the blitzes they threw at him in the first half. They're spoon blitzing. They didn't have a clue on what to do, and they were like stepping out, and he's coming inside, and then Drake May didn't have a chance. I mean, he was just getting drilled, the whole time, right off the bat. So, they didn't have to blitz as much in the second half because they had them all worried about it, and so then they were probably throwing different kinds of looks at him and stuff. So Seahawks, just their defense was just amazing, amazing.
That's so too. I had for the Seahawks star of the game, I just said the entire defense. Like the
Yeah,
pressure that they put on May really didn't give him much of a chance.
Wanted
yeah,
it to be the kicker winning the MVP.
yeah.
Selfishly, that would have been hilarious.
Well, and it could have been a legitimate. That could have been legitimate. One of my friends texted me and said, "What do you think?" And I did think Walker, just because of his stats. He in the first half alone, again, as he was kind of getting going, 10-yard run right off the bat. Then nothing happened for a while, but then all of a sudden he broke like a 30-yard run. And later on in the half, I'm like, man, he's got to have at least 80 yards by now. And at the time, somebody looked it up, and he was at like 93 in the first half. So I knew if they kept giving him the ball, and especially if he ended up scoring a touchdown, which he did, but it got called back. I figured, well, he'd probably be a pretty good lock for an MVP just because he's going to have the stats. Because on the other
Um,
side, who do you give it to? It's hard because there isn't like one specific stat type thing that stands out or anything for the defense. Although I agree with you, Drew, 100% that that defense wins championships, and that's what happened.
I would have gave the MVP to the entire defense if that was allowed.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships, but it makes for an incredibly boring Super Bowl. So yeah.
Unless you're really a big fan of defense, and then that game was like right up your alley, right?
Who's a big fan of defense? I mean, come on.
Football
Defensive
coaches.
coordinators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, the the interesting thing too was, not a touchdown scored until the final quarter, which was interesting. But it did feel like, man, if Seattle just keeps kicking field goals, they could have won that way. I mean, damn, they were just controlling the ball, running down the field, scoring points, and then shutting them down. The one of the stats I looked at that kind of surprised me, because we were like, again, at the party when we were watching it, we were like, man, there hasn't been a penalty yet. They're just letting them play, and there were only 7 penalties in the game,
I didn't even
which
think
is
about
Well,
that.
isn't that kind of wild for a NFL game? Because normally you see one fly on every single punt and kickoff, some pass plays inevitably. There's always some lined up in the backfield and, stuff like that. And man, this time there was just nothing. They were just playing.
Mostly watch Chiefs games, so yeah, I'm used to seeing a lot.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on the game, just the game itself?
I thought the star of the Patriots was the Christian Gonzalez, their DB. I thought he was the stand-up for them.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, you get the assignment because he had the assignment of guarding Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? Yeah. And he didn't do much in the game. Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't do much in the game. And so somebody's got to be doing a good job. I mean, because they only sacked Sam Darnold once,
He had some
whereas
crazy pass breakups too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Darnold only got sacked once. Drake May got sacked 6 times.
Yeah.
He was getting rushed and hit and everything else. So it was different that way for them too. But and last week we also talked about, usually in a big game, playoff games also, mistakes cost you. And the New England had 3 turnovers and Seattle had 0. When when you only get so many possessions and you got to make points happen, this is how it ends. All in all, I was happy to watch the game because I didn't have a dog in the fight, and so I was just, kind of seeing, well, I guess if it's defense, it's defense, and we'll just roll with it and see what happens. But I could see where, man, the Patriots fans had to just be miserable.
Yeah, especially because, like we're saying, their defense also played great. They
Oh
didn't
yeah,
do anything except kick a field goal until the last quarter, so they can't be mad at that, just
no.
their offense.
I think actually I disagree because look, I think the only people that were happy to watch that game are the Seahawks fans because it was so boring. It was so boring. Come on, y'all. Like if I don't have a dog in the fight and I'm turning on the Super Bowl, I at least want to watch a good freaking game.
Well, yeah, it it was well, here's where I kind of got confused too, because it was 19-0, the Patriots score. I'm thinking go for two. Because if you get it, you make it 19-8. And then if you score again and get a 2-point conversion, it's 19-16. Now you can tie with a field goal. For some reason they didn't. So they probably thought, well, we're going to have to score 3 touchdowns. So we'll just score the touchdowns and kick the extra point. Did they think they were going to win 21-19? I don't know. But that kind of confused me a little bit on that one. But it did get to be where, they were within 2 touchdowns. There was plenty of time on the clock. Then when Seattle scored their defensive touchdown, then it's over. It's
Yeah.
done. Okay. All right. So that's some good game talk. Well, do we want to talk about the halftime shows at all? Did you all watch them?
I love how you're referring to multiple halftime shows.
Well, there was 2 of them.
I know. You're right. You're not showing your cards at all here. I
What?
didn't even know there was 2 until you texted, "Are you going to watch the alternative show?" And then I was like, what is going on here?"
Well,
Um,
I watched them both just because I wanted to know what's
no,
going
that's
on.
fair. We did end up having some people turn on the other one because the alternative show had 4.6 million people watching on YouTube. So
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't a small, alternative show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into all the politics on this and stuff like that. I mean, to me, let's face it, the NFL, they want to make money. And so, whatever they're going to do is they're looking at it, from a money making perspective. So when you look at why would you do a halftime show that is really international? Well, they're playing 5 international games this past season or something like that. Next year it's going to be 9. Obviously they're looking to expand the international audience, and I get it. It's a marketing deal. It's what F1 and soccer and everybody else does, and they want the piece of their pie. And I so to me it's all about money. The scenery was cool. It looked
Yeah,
like,
it was cool on TV, but if you were at
yeah.
the game, I wonder what the hell that looked like.
That was my favorite part about it was I'm used to the Super Bowl shows just being like fireworks and flashing lights and stuff, and this was so different than all the rest that I really liked that part
Yeah.
of it.
I didn't sit, I was too busy, getting more food and getting another beer or whatever. I mean, I didn't like, I'm not going to sit here and sit tight during halftime. I'll catch it later. So I figured I'd watch it on YouTube or whatever. So I watched the Kid Rock one on YouTube, and I thought that was good too. I mean, if you really like watched what was going on, the songs were lyrical and you could follow what their thoughts were, which was fine. And then, well, what, you don't think I'm a music critic or
No.
something? What? And then you look at, okay, so the one thing I saw online where some people were criticizing, well, Kid Rock's song that he sang, the first song that he sang had a bunch of bad words in it and stuff like that. And it did, because that was a song that he used to sing when he first started his career. So, the Kid Rock thing was, I'm showing you who I was then. And then they had some kind of like Christian theme, 2-person string ensemble going on to then bridge to, they introduced Bob Ritchie, who is Kid Rock, and he sang a song about, believing in Jesus and that type of thing. So there was a progression there where he was telling a story. So I thought it was pretty good too, so I don't, and if you want an alternative and it's out there and you want to listen to it, I think that's fine too.
Yeah, I see no problem with it. I mean, look, I like Bad Bunny songs. Like, if I'm at the bar and Bad Bunny comes on, like, I will dance. However, 15 minutes straight of it was a bit much towards the end because they all start to kind of run together for me. So that's kind of how I was feeling. But I did think it was a unique show, and my prop bet was correct about Titi Me Pregunto being the first song. So, yay.
All right. Good job on the prop bet. What do
Actually, I think I know more Bad Bunny songs than Kid Rock songs. I don't think I could name a Kid Rock song if
okay.
I think about
Props
it.
to Drew. I'm loving this dynamic we have here. With got the
Well, it's a
oldies.
generational thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, generational thing. So I got something for you on a generational thing then. So let's talk about okay, so you were at a party. You went to a Super Bowl party, right, Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay, I did too. Drew, did you go to a party? Did you watch it at home or?
I just watched it at home.
Oh, okay. So the party I was at was the youngest person there was probably mom. So, you had people in their late 50s all the way up into their 80s. And the food was amazing. It was probably the best. It's it's the best game food I have ever had. So, if you ever want to lesson to you all, as you get older, people just they're better cooks. So the Super
Mhm.
Bowl parties get better and better and better. If you get invited to a Super Bowl party with older people, you got to go because their food is going to be out of this world. That's my take.
Well, speaking
That's
of
a good.
food, you know what I am depressed about is the party I went to, we did not have buffalo chicken dip. And we all know how much I love buffalo chicken and buffalo chicken dip. And our friend usually makes it and brings it. She was out of town, so I was counting on her bringing the buffalo chicken dip, and she did not show up with the buffalo chicken dip, and I was honestly pretty upset about it.
So and she didn't give you any heads up, so you didn't were you going to fill in?
I should have realized and I should have filled in. I brought cake balls because that's, my thing in our friend group. They would
Ah,
get mad at me if I didn't bring those. So which actually, funnily enough, the cake balls were stolen at the end of the night, by one of our friends.
of course.
Hijacked the leftovers, and ran to their car, instead of leaving them at the house we were at.
Drew, so you're at home? So what did you have, like a frozen pizza and
Did I eat? I I think I had leftover pizza actually.
yeah.
It's
So
lit.
so we had one of the people there made these most unbelievable chicken wings. They were like kind of like garlic parmesan wings, unbelievably seasoned. They gave a we when we left, there was tons of them, so we grabbed a bag of about, I don't know, 30 of them. So I've been eating those like every day since then. Man, they're amazing. We had brisket, which was fantastic, sausage, fantastic, bacon wrapped jalapenos, out of this world, baked beans. One of the ladies made baked beans, and that may not sound like something that you can really make really, really good, but she had thick bacon on the top of these. And I mean, I was about falling over.
Not heard dad speak this passionately about food like this, especially
Oh,
when football's on. Honestly,
oh.
dad's usually more interested in the football, so
Well,
this
now you
is
know
crazy.
why I didn't really watch the halftime show. I mean,
He
I
was
was too.
hungry.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
exactly.
said you had to refill your plate. I thought that was more of a joke,
Yeah,
but
there
apparently it
no,
was very serious.
yeah, absolutely. There were many rounds made by several people, so it was really, really good. All right, well, let's get to the commercial. So, what I think we should do. Hopefully, you've done some homework on this. Have you done some homework on the commercials?
Well, I
I have
watched
a
them.
top 5.
Okay, you got your top five. Okay, so let's do the top five from each of us, and what we'll do is like your fifth favorite, it will score 1 point, and your fourth favorite will score 2 points on down the line, and we'll see which one scores the most points and what we think as a group is the best commercial from
Okay.
the Super Bowl. Good. All right. So
Okay.
Nicole, you lead off. What's your number? What was your number five?
All right, my number 5, I've got Mike Tyson, with the real food, for the government. I thought that was unique slash funny. I was not expecting it to be real food. And I just thought that was a unique statement. And Mike Tyson's just, a unique personality. So I liked seeing him on my screen.
Okay. All right. Do you want to keep going, Nicole, all the way to your
No,
number
let's
one, or
let's
you
have
want to do
someone
five, five,
else.
five?
Yeah, someone else do their 5, and then we'll go around.
All right, Drew, what's your 5?
My 5 is more of a personal pick that y'all probably didn't have. I liked the Pokemon 30th anniversary commercial. I thought Lady Gaga singing with Jigglypuff was really funny.
Somehow I knew that one would fall on your list when I saw that.
I put it low because of that, but yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. So my 5 was Goodwill Duncan with
5?
with that was my 5. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
I really like that one that much. That
see,
one's not
Nicole
even
doesn't even
in
like it.
my
It's not even
that
gonna.
one's not even in my top 5.
Yeah. See.
That
Yeah.
all
Sorry.
right.
Sorry. I've seen better Duncan commercials, so I was a little bit like, "Come on, Duncan." But that's just me.
I
I
guess
liked it just because of all the nostalgia of past characters and stuff like that. So so that's why it hit my 5.
we can spoil that. That was my number 1 because I really liked that
Spoiled
one.
it. All right.
I we're already talking about it, but yeah, I love the Joey. I loved seeing
I did like
Jennifer
Joey.
Aniston too. Like everyone that was in it was pretty good. It was perfect.
All
Cheers was
right.
in it. They had a lot. I
I
like
could,
that one.
and I could see that. I could see when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, that was pretty good. But I missed a lot of commercials during the Super Bowl because you're talking to people and everything else. So when I went back and watched them all, then I was like, I'm kind of surprised I didn't like that. I'm surprised that one wasn't higher on my list, but I thought it was good. I liked it. Okay, Drew, what was your 4?
My number 4 was the Budweiser one with the Clydesdale and the baby eagle. I
Okay,
always liked the Budweiser commercials, and that one was super cute, so I had to include that one.
okay,
Fair enough. My 4 was Pringles with Sabrina Carpenter. I thought that was kind of cute. I think Sabrina Carpenter is super cute, and I just thought it was unique because by this point in the game, nearly like half the commercials were AI commercials, and I was starting to get really freaking annoyed. And so when Pringles with Sabrina Carpenter came on my screen, I wrote that one down. So maybe it's slightly biased by my annoyance of the huge amount of AI commercials at that point, but I was happy to see like a fun little silly Pringles Sabrina Carpenter commercial at that point.
I can understand that. Yeah. Okay, my number 4 was Red Bull, Charlie the dog. Do you remember that one?
Must have missed that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one as much.
So Charlie, it's a cartoon commercial. You know how
Oh, yeah.
the Red
Yeah.
Bull is always Red Bull gives you wings. Well,
Yeah.
Charlie's with his master, and he takes the leash and he runs him and ties him to a tree so that he can get away and go schmooze with a female that he's interested in. So plus, we have a Charlie the dog too. So that's just, it resonates. All righty. On to number 3. Drew, what's your 3?
My number 3, it's funny I put this right ahead of the Budweiser one because when it started, I thought for sure it was a Budweiser commercial, and I think that's the way they wanted it to be, but then it ended up being the Mandalorian and Grogu, the baby Yoda. So I thought that one was funny because I thought for sure, oh, here comes the classic Budweiser commercial, and then it's baby Yoda.
Okay.
My 3 was Budweiser. Which Dad, is Budweiser in your top 5? You don't have to reveal which number it is if it is, but is it in your top 5?
Yep.
That's what I thought. And again, like here I am just thinking of Dad all the time when I'm watching the game. I'm like, Dad is always saying that, oh, these are just the best commercials. And I thought the same thing when I was watching it though. I was just like, it felt like a true American, the baby eagle. It was very cute. And so yeah, that one's ranked 3 for me.
Okay.
That was really good.
All right. So my 3rd was Pepsi, the polar bear choice, where the polar bear, because you remember the Coke commercials where the polar bear drinks the Coke, and in this one he drinks Pepsi and likes it, and then is like all distraught because he drank the Pepsi.
That's my number 2. I love that one too. That one's great.
Okay, so that's what we're down to, right? Your 2.
Yep, that was my 2.
So your 2 is polar bear.
My 2, which I'm surprised y'all haven't said this yet, so I'm wondering if it's somebody's number 1 or something. Relaxitsabloodtest.com. Do you remember this one?
I think I missed that one too.
Oh, you need to look this one up, like right
Is this
now.
the tight
Actually,
end one?
this is the butt one. We got Gronk in it, and it's about
Oh, the
I'm gonna
prostate.
tight
look it up.
ends. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
It was very silly, very funny. I was like, "What in the heck are we watching?" The unclenching of the butt cheeks at the one point, actually, like, so our friend is a physician's assistant, had to explain to me why exactly the butt cheeks were being unclenched. But now I understand. So I educated myself in human anatomy and how that works. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's actually hilarious then. So relax, it's a bloodtest.com. That is kind of funny. And I thought that was just unique and I liked it.
Okay, I understand. I thought that one was kind of funny too. It didn't make my top 5.
What?
My second most favorite was the Mick Ultra when Kurt Russell is the ski instructor. Do you remember that one? Kurt Russell,
I don't
ski
remember that
instructor?
one. I would have to watch that one.
So it's a guy that they say first one down the first or last one down the slope buys Mick Ultra, and Greg is always last, and so they all know it, and they get down to the slope, and they're like, "Good thing we got Greg with us, you know, he always buys." And so then Kurt Russell's in there. He's there in the bar, and he's like, "Meet me at the slope tomorrow at 5 a.m." And then he takes him through some training and stuff. And part of it too is if you know the movie Miracle when he's Herb Brooks and he's the coach, and keeps making him skate, and he goes again, again. You know that's part of the
Yeah.
commercial too. And then the guy ends up being an amazing skier at the end and wins. You know, and somebody else has to buy. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I
Nice.
just watched the tight end one on my phone. That was pretty good.
That one's good.
Yeah.
I was
Pretty
surprised
funny.
y'all didn't talk about it because that one was pretty funny.
I
All
missed
right,
the
so now,
ski one too, but I probably would have liked that.
Yeah,
Hearing
the
what that
ski.
one was
I
like.
I think I vaguely remember the ski one now that you say it.
So now we're down to number 1, and Drew already said Goodwill Duncan.
Yep. I
Mine.
loved the
Oh wait,
Duncan
go
one
ahead.
from the year before too. So
Duncan last year I liked better
it was
personally.
better for sure.
Okay.
All right. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Mine was Coinbase. Everybody Rock Your Body karaoke. And then it ends in Coinbase because that to me is like my favorite type of Super Bowl commercial. Like I can't remember which year it was. Some company did like the DVD one where it's going like this, you know, into the little bouncing around the screen. I liked that. I remember a few
The
years
mystery.
ago.
You like the mystery?
Yeah, it's everybody stops and pays attention. You also do you remember the Roku one where it looked like somebody was like exiting out of the game and going to the Roku home screen? You know what I'm talking about? This was like
Uh,
2 or 3 years ago. That one I liked. So this to me was like that moment this year. Everybody Rock Your Body, we're all singing along like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Are they announcing a tour? And then it's just Coinbase. So I don't know. That one was everybody, you know, the world stopped in that moment. So that one was my favorite. And it's a great song.
that was like a Adult Swim commercial at like 3 a.m. that makes no sense. That's what that reminded me of. Which I like those
You
too
don't
as
need it to
well.
make sense, yeah, for it to work. Because I'ma remember that it was Coinbase forever now. So
Okay, well, then obviously my number 1 is the Budweiser Clydesdale with the Eagle. That one, it's just so majestic. I mean, little baby bird gets brought to life, and then you see that Clydesdale running, and the wings come out, and then the eagle takes off. It's like, man, it's cool looking. I like the animal commercials too for some reason because as I'm looking at mine, I have the polar bear, I've got the Charlie the dog, and I've got the Budweiser Clydesdale. So 3 of my top 5 were animal commercials. So
We know Dad so well that that was gonna be
that
his
was his
number
top
one.
one. That does make me. I knew it was gonna be in your top 5. I didn't expect it to be 1, but fair enough. It is a pretty majestic looking
Well, let me tell you
commercial.
something else. It's not just my number 1, it's our number 1
I
because
figured that was coming
Yeah.
once we all mentioned it.
yeah, I mean that's really the only one that all 3 of us picked.
That's
Two's gotta be the
reassuring to me.
Pepsi Bears, right?
This number 2 is the polar bear,
Mm-hmm.
and number 3 is Goodwill Duncan, basically due to Drew's high opinion
I
on that one.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised the rectal exam one was not on there. I'm a little bit disappointed in us for not having that in the top 3, but whatever.
I missed it. I probably would have put that on there. That's my bad.
That one
Well,
was pretty good.
good work on that. Good work, everybody. I think we all took some time to really try to get, what we think. There's a lot of good commercials, though. I mean, I was like making notes of them, but when I first looked at it, I was like, I just looked online to see like, well, how many commercials are there during the Super Bowl? They sell like 80 spots, 80. And
Yeah,
like
and
eight,
probably 40 were AI.
yeah, like 8 to 10 million a piece. I mean, it's unreal. Again, money, right? I mean, it's just good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Thoughts on AI? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little Winter Olympics then. You ready for that? Okay, so Winter Olympics. Last time we talked, we were like, "Well, what events interest you?" And there's a number of them. So I'm just going to run down the list of events, and we can. I'll just ask you. You watch any, or what do you think? Alpine skiing is one. That's like downhill, slalom, giant slalom, super G. So far, they've handed out 15 medals. U.S. has got 3 of them. You guys been following that at all?
It's not one that I watched.
No?
I've only watched hockey so far, so sorry
All
to
right.
break
So
your
in the
bubble.
downhill, I think the big news in the downhill was the USA got a gold. Breezy Johnson, cool name. If you're a downhill skier, you got named Breezy. I mean, geez, that's pretty good, huh?
You want to know an even better Winter Olympics name? Winter Vanecki.
Who's
Wow.
that?
I kind of forgot.
Someone
What?
at the Olympics.
All right, Winter Vanecki. You find that and then obviously Lindsey Vonn was going in. She tore her ACL, gonna try to ski anyway, crashed and broke her leg, and man, she's like on her 3rd surgery now, I think. So that was some serious stuff there. But the crazy thing about like the downhill, they get going. They average like 60 to 70 miles an hour, and at top speed, they might be going like anywhere from 85 to 95. And, to wipe out, and it's no wonder that their legs will snap and everything else. It's crazy.
Winter is a freestyle skier, by the way.
Freestyle skier. Okay, so freestyle skiing, speaking of that, what have they done so far? They've only awarded 1 medal so far, so it really hasn't gotten going much. And I don't know much about it. I know they do the moguls, ski cross, half pipe, tricky
Yeah,
stuff.
that one's Eileen Gu's event, right? Did you write her down?
Is she part of it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
She's the most popular female athlete in terms of endorsements. The last time I checked, she has like a massive following on Instagram. She actually goes to Stanford. So in terms of NIL, like we can consider her one of the most dominant female athletes, but she's representing China because that's her mom's, home country or birth country. So she is definitely someone to be aware of if you care about name, image, and likeness, or, prominence in the popularity of female athletes. When I watched, she did pretty good, but I don't know how it ended up working out, if she got silver or gold, because it was a tough competition between the reigning champ and her.
Okay, will be something to check up on. Biathlon. Biathlon is what? Who knows what biathlon is?
I just know that you ski and shoot.
Yeah, rifle and cross country ski.
I would have guessed to swim and bike.
Been around since 1912. That's one where, boy, you have to like both of those disciplines to practice that a lot. That would be.
Can we talk about this? Why is that the biathlon, and then the triathlon is swim, bike, run? They're completely 5 different things. They sound so similar.
Could be about when they are invented. I don't know.
Because it's not making much sense, because at least our heptathlon and our decathlon are pretty similar. So how is the biathlon and the triathlon in completely different Olympics?
Yes. Well,
it's just the
summer, winter,
amount of things, right?
Yeah. It's just a number of things, and it's just the way it's defined, I suppose.
Well, number of things.
Yeah.
Again,
2.
it doesn't make any sense.
Shooting and cross-country skiing. 2 things. Bye.
I understand that, but you should add one more thing onto that to be the triathlon instead of 3 completely different things for the triathlon.
Okay. Well, maybe you should hit the suggestion box with that one.
I'm going to email. I'm going to email them. I'm emailing the Olympic Committee tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Cross-country skiing. I think there's not a lot to talk about there. We know what it is, and I think the Norskis just kind of they run that show, right? I mean, I don't think the U.S. got a medal in that. One medal so far. Uh, Curling, man, you can watch curling every day. Last night they had the mixed doubles on. Have you ever watched that?
Kylie and why can't I remember his name right now? Jason
Oh, Jason
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I watched
the
their
curler.
fun little clip, yeah, of them trying it. But
I
no, I have
mean,
not watched the actual one.
these Olympians are amazing. I mean, they're launching those stones, and I think they said that the length of the path is like 150 feet or something like that. And it's amazing how accurate they are with they're brooming like mad. I mean, at first I thought the brooming was like a really simple exercise. Man, they're putting work into that. These guys are like breathing heavily and stuff. And they're keeping
I
their
have something
balance
to
while they're
say.
doing it and stuff. Yeah,
I have
what?
something to say.
Go ahead.
So this reminds me of me and Drew's one of our most heated debates. Spaghetti Gate was one of our like actual most heated debates, but this one was a close second. So when I say it, Drew will remember because I have said before that if I had unlimited time and resources, as in money, I could be an Olympic athlete. And I stand by that, and I stand by that. And then Drew's like, "What sport?" And curling, like, come on. Like, I feel like I could learn curling, and that is just all I can think now whenever I see it.
Maybe you should then start looking for job opportunities in Duluth, Minnesota. I think they probably have a huge, huge curling community there.
But think about it.
That's where the mixed doubles came from. They came from Duluth.
I conceded that part of the debate. Yeah, you could probably do curling.
Thank you,
You
because
gotta put in that effort.
yeah, but think about it. Like, what other sports like could it be?
Maybe I think you have to have a certain body type for bobsled and skeleton, but maybe you could try those.
That's true. Those do look pretty hard, and I'm pretty
I
like
I don't
small in
know.
stature, and those things are heavy.
I don't know why you'd want to do luge or skeleton. So, do you guys know the difference between luge and skeleton?
Skeleton is head first.
Yeah, yeah. You're head first, face down, and then luge your face up, feet first. Either way, they're traveling anywhere from 70 to 95 miles an hour, and
I
it's
can't even go
nuts.
full speed on a Lime scooter. So
Okay, you can't do that one then, probably.
yeah, I don't think I'd be good at that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Freestyle skiing, we already talked about a little bit. We've got moguls, big air, aerials, all that kind of stuff. Already combined is cross country skiing and ski jump. That's kind of a weird one. I don't know why they have it like a team event. I think they just started that yesterday. Short track speed skate. The whole track is like 111 meters, whereas like the regular speed skating is 400 meters around. They had some of that on last night, and
I watched that. Is that with Jake Paul's girlfriend?
no, she was
Yeah.
big
Or
track.
she's one of
She
She's
does the
regular.
never mind then. I watched hers.
Yeah, she's a regular, and she, broke a Olympic record and got a gold medal, which was
The
huge.
Netherlands like owns speed skating, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they're really good at it.
Like all of
Yeah.
it.
The short track stuff, man, that is crazy to watch because they don't go against time, they go against each other, and there's like 4 skaters on the ice at a time, if not more. And last night I was watching it and there was all kinds of wipeouts and stuff, and it looked like could be dangerous. These guys, they got the huge blades with their legs flying in the air when they wipe out and stuff. And man, they weren't wearing neck guards, Drew. So, yeah.
The blades they wear are crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was wild. Ski jump, that's kind of kicked off. There's some of that going on. Snowboarding, they haven't done much with that. Well, I guess there have been some medals awarded. U.S. hasn't won any yet in that. And then there's an event called ski mountaineering. You ever heard of it?
Well, that's the new sport this
That's
year.
the new one. Ski
I
mountaineering.
can't remember. Oh, I heard
What is
about
that?
this. I heard about this this morning. I cannot remember what it is.
Otherwise known as skimo. And this is one that, in my opinion, this is for the summer triathletes or people that are just want to really get their heart rate up to 190 beats a minute and push themselves to the limit and that kind of stuff. Because what you have to do is they traverse up the mountain first in skis. So they put these skins on the bottom of their skis that grip so that they can go up the mountain, and they go as far as they can with those on. And then if it gets too steep for that, I think they pull them off and put them on their back and run up the mountain. and then
Okay.
so then when they get up as far as they have to go, depending on how long the race is, then they have to take the skins off the skis and put the skis on and ski down the mountain. So while their heart is, I'm sure, beating out of their chest the entire time and their legs are burning and stuff, it sounds grueling as all get out.
You should
They
tell
haven't.
Jenny to do it.
What's that?
Tell Aunt Jenny to do it.
Well, this is an event that I'm sure that she and her friend group would be extremely interested in, because it's just, I'm sure.
Because no one else would be.
Well, yeah. I mean, to do it, you got to be really seeking out some high impact cardio. I mean, I'm sure it's just tough as can be. Because you're not just like running up a hill, you're running up a mountain.
Hello, figure skating.
Oh, we missed figure skating. Oh, shoot.
Rude.
Yeah,
How rude.
that is rude. Because the figure skating, the U.S. just won a gold medal, a team medal.
Yes.
Last
Was
night.
it Bates and Chalk?
Was that
No.
the Lenny Kravitz
wasn't them?
routine?
It was a team medal, because it was a team event. So they had all disciplines of figure skating, and then they take all the scores and add them together or whatever, and the U.S. won the gold.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that, Nicole?
Yeah, I really liked the Lenny Kravitz routine was Americans. And so I was watching the rhythm dance is what this one was. So it's a choreographed, they're doing a lot of things in sync. The theme overall, I think it was the theme for the entire, like all the countries, was 90s, or maybe it was just one of them. But I was sensing kind of like it was all pretty poppy. Everyone had kind of like pop music, which I thought was interesting. But the Americans there did their routine to Lenny Kravitz, which I loved.
Mhm.
And then the other one I watched is, y'all need to educate yourselves, because we have an American male figure skater that does a backflip on the
I
ice.
saw the highlights of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does a literal backflip. I didn't even know that was legal. I thought that was illegal. I thought that was an illegal move. So seeing that on TV was crazy to me. So I'm very impressed and proud of our American figure skaters.
Seeing them do quads and backflips and stuff, it's to me, that's, years and years ago, that was unimaginable, so it's amazing how all these sports, how much further they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing to be able to do stuff like that. It's wild. That's crazy.
What Lenny Kravitz song was it?
I don't know if they ended up doing a mashup. American figure skating.
All right. So while you're looking at that, hockey.
Yeah, they had multiple. It was American Woman, Fly Away, Are You Gonna Go My Way? They had multiple in there. And I've been loving Lenny Kravitz lately. He's on my gym playlist. I got Fly Away on there. I'll be jamming.
Okay, so with hockey, the female team has dominated so far. They've had 4 games. I think, what have they scored, Drew? 20 goals? I think they've scored 5 every game.
Yeah, the two that I saw, they won 5-0 both games, and they beat the crap out of Canada.
They've had 3
Canada.
shutouts in a row. They've had 3 shutouts in a row, and they beat Canada 5-0. So right now, the way they're playing, it's like, God, I hope they don't get overconfident, because they are playing amazing right now.
I don't know who can stop them in their bracket. I really don't, especially after watching them handle Canada like that. I don't know what country has a women's team quite like this.
Right, exactly. And well, I'm sure I think the U.S. was favored.
I think they are too.
They should be now.
I saw that now they would be.
One of their stars is Hannah Bilka, I think is how you say her name. She is from Capel.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm like, have y'all seen her around at your local rink?
Drew, we need to pick her up. We need to pick her up the next summer league or something,
Don't think she plays in the leagues that we're in, no.
Yeah, you would get a letter in the mail saying she cannot be on your team. She's way too talented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
then
so
Hillary Knight is now she has the most points in U.S. women's Olympic hockey history. That was pretty crazy.
Okay. And then on the men's side of the deal, the games will start tomorrow. I think the men play
They started
Latvia.
today.
Yeah, the U.S. men, I mean.
U.S.
The
does
U.S.
fly
men,
out.
they play Latvia tomorrow, and then they play Denmark and Germany on the 14th and 15th. So the U.S. team uh, is obviously good. I mean, Drew, what are your thoughts on hockey? You've done some research on this. I have too, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so the US is going to be one of the favored teams, along with Canada, obviously, and then Sweden and Finland. Those are like the top four. They're the A tier. They're all heavily favorited. And then everyone after that, there's maybe, I said there's three dark horses. I think it's going to be Czechia, Germany, and Switzerland are going to be the dark horses.
Says
Dark
new
houses.
new term unlocked.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
made it up.
so you're spot on. I think you're spot on. Here's some trivia for if people aren't, normally hockey followers. So this is the first year since I think 2014 where NHL players can play. So the rosters are 25 players a team. So how many do you think Canada has from the NHL on their team?
100%.
25, exactly. The US,
100%.
25. Sweden, who's third favored, they have 25 NHL players as well.
Wow.
And Finland, who's the fourth ranked team, has 24 out of 25 are NHL players.
And
The
one is
Imagine
a
next,
being
former
imagine being
NHL
that
player.
guy.
the one
He's
guy.
he's a former NHL player. So
Oh,
Yeah,
he is.
probably. Yeah, he's
I
probably
was
just
playing
gonna I
in
was
counted.
gonna say, who is this guy?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the next team that, and Drew mentioned them, Czechia, they have 12 NHL players on their roster. So, a lot of their players are European players. But then after that, most of the teams, 5, 6, 7 NHL players. So that's why that top four is so strong,
The thing
in that.
that I think separates those dark house candidates is is Germany and Czechia. Their NHL players are, for the most part, stars,
Yes,
especially when you look at Pastrnak and Draisaitl. Like, they have some very, very good NHL players that set them
yep,
apart from the rest of the Olympic teams.
agreed. You hit a point that I was going to introduce too. Is I looked on ESPN, they have like top 50 players in the Olympics, the top 50 players in the Olympics. And out of the top 50, Canada has 17 of them.
Mhm.
The US has 15 of them.
That's better than I thought. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's why, those two teams are at the top.
Mhm.
Germany has 4 of them.
Yeah.
And Leon
Draisaitl's probably
Draisaitl,
number 2 in the league if you really
yeah,
think about it.
yeah, you got Draisaitl and then Tim Stuzzle. He's also a really good one. He's on my
And
fantasy hockey team, scores me a lot of points, so,
their goalie is Philip Grubauer from Seattle, who's been playing amazing. So them having a very, very good goalie is gonna make them even much better.
Yeah. Well, for those teams, their goaltending will have to be great, because they're going to get pressured like you can't believe, which kind of leads me to, Canada and US are favored to be in the gold medal game, and Canada's favored, but the US goaltending is better, but it
As a
has to
group, for
be.
sure.
It
Yeah.
has to be because Canada has the fastest skaters in the world and the best players, too. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Putting McDavid, Makar, and McKinnon all together should be illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, that's a tough lineup to beat. So I'm glad it gets kicked off. Well, I'm glad it's starting today, and then we'll start to see it. By the time we talk next week, they'll be getting ready for the playoff rounds to start. And so we'll hopefully see what's happened, and hopefully what we see from the US is they've taken care of their first three opponents pretty easily because their pool is weak. I mean, they have like Latvia, Denmark, and Germany. So Germany's their big competition in
I
their
think
pool.
Germany's gonna be good. I stand by that. I think they'll be
Yeah.
sneaky good. But
All
Denmark
right.
and Latvia, USA should handle them.
Yeah, because there's 12 teams in the Olympic hockey, and I think Denmark and Latvia are 9 and 10 ranked. So it's
Mhm.
pretty good pool to draw into,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Yeah, not being in a pool with Canada, Finland, and Sweden is always gonna be a win.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think we had a good round of talks today and plenty to talk about with the Super Bowl, the commercials, and the Winter Olympics. next week, I think we'll probably touch back in to the Winter Olympics, and we've got some things coming up on the horizon. We'll decide what we want to dig into, whether it be spring training, baseball, got NCAA baseball starting, and some other things, and then if we want to jump into some family banter, we'll do that as well. So, Drew, Nicole, anything else to say before we sign off for today?
I don't think so. I think we're good on my end.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Drew agrees that I could be an Olympic athlete if I had unlimited time and resources, because I stand very firmly in my argument there. So that made my day.
You've all been listening to Butterball. It's a podcast of 3 family members. We're talking ball, having a little banter, and having a ball. So continue to follow us. Nicole, you want to tell them where?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast. We'll post clips on there and some fun photos and highlights. Also link our episodes on there. So follow us on Instagram.
And where can you watch the episodes, Drew?
YouTube and Spotify. It is Butterball on Spotify and Butterball Podcast on YouTube.
Alrighty, very good. Thank you all, and we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.